Hi everyone, Vicki Laughlin here with Dynamic Wellness. We're going live. Do you see my rock balance in the back? We're going to talk about that in a second here. So, welcome. This is day one of Roadmap to Vitality. Real quick, I'm going to put a QR code if you would like to get a checklist to kind of follow along with all of this. You could screenshot this page. I realize the writing above is going to be possibly backwards, and hopefully, I don't know. And some of you might know how a QR code would work when you do a selfie mode of a live. So maybe you know that. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is I realize that you're probably bombarded. Your notifications and all that. You maybe follow a lot of health type related people or Instagrams, and I appreciate that. And what I have to say this week may not resonate with you. If it does, awesome. There's ways we can work together in the future, and that would be wonderful. If it doesn't resonate with you, fine. Tune out. I get it, because there's so much information out there that we don't have time to hear all of it. But again, I may say something here that might resonate with you. And if you tune in every day on your lunch hour and you just catch a little information, who knows? You might be able to fly with it. The whole idea is that we want to reclaim our vitality. Maybe we're already there. So what do we do to make it better? First of all, I'll give you a little history on me. I started in this business in 1982. That was 40 years ago. So yes, I'm an oldie moldy. I never, though, went for the big fame and fortune of it all. Social media makes it very different these days where that's concerned. And so if you're here, say hi. Hi, Motaz. Or Ahmed, I'm not sure which is your first or last name. Hello. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in. And also KSJ 41856. Someone else just left. Anyhow, say hi and where you're from. Maybe this isn't your lunch hour. Maybe, let's see, it's after lunch, it's 3 o'clock. Or maybe if you're going the other way, you're still in the morning hours. But either way, Pacific time, it's lunchtime, and get your healthy food and let's dive in. Okay, so I began in this business in 1982, back when moving the body more meant that's how we regained our health and vitality. Most people I started working with, that was literally how they got healthier. But as I went through the years and I saw my clients getting sicker, I ended up needing to figure out why movement alone anymore wasn't the thing. Because back in the 80s, we thought about our food, but we always thought that if we just moved enough, we could eat whatever we want, right? And the reality is, in terms of calorie for calorie, that may be true, but as the longer we've gone down this path with tainted food supplies and things like that, the more we've had issues with our health that movement can no longer just resolve. So today, as I advance my education, today I'm a holistic lifestyle coach, a health coach that empowers my clients and to give them the faith that their body can heal themselves. We've lost that faith. We turn all of our power over to the doctor who, is going to give us a solution to maybe actually just, work on the symptoms that you're having. And maybe that will make you feel better, and that's enough to maybe give you a little false hope of vitality, but it's not the solution. So here's some statistics that might be alarming to you and why I wanted to do this live so that people can understand that the answer really is not in a pill. Number one, 90% of our healthcare costs today in the United States go towards people who are already sick. Number one leading cause of death in the United States is heart disease or metabolic issues. And all of those can be controlled with lifestyle, the things I'm going to be talking about this week, to control and actually avoid those metabolic issues. The second leading cause of death is cancer. And the third leading cause of death is medical errors, which relate directly back to the medications that they prescribe for these other conditions, these other number 1 and 2 leading causes of death. So what's scary about that is as you start taking medications, then you take a medication for that medication because it gave you this or that actually is where the prescription and the person taking the prescription, they're doing it as prescribed, as is recommended. But the body can't tolerate all of that. And that's where it becomes, the medical error issue becomes the third leading cause of death in the United States. And that relates us back to, we could deal with metabolic issues and even avoid the risk of cancer with following along with what I'm going to have to say this week. Okay, so so that was 1, 2, and 3. I want to show you a biobattery, which kind of relates directly to what I've just said. When I teach my Basecamp program, this is all filled in, but it would show up backwards. I just want to give you this visual. Keep that visual in mind. As I say, we start, hopefully, at birth with a pretty full battery. I'm not going to say every child does, because mom may not be healthy. The mom could have been exposed to toxins. There could be some kind of compromise on the fetus, on the baby. So they're not born that way. But that biobattery does relate to aging. And everything we talk about this week will relate to reversing the aging process or slowing the aging process. So it's absolutely possible, if we don't insult the body too much. We can still enjoy life, but we take our health as a number 1 priority and we get back to the basics. That's what it's all about. So as your biobattery drains, you go from vitality to, maybe you start off with presenting some allergies. Maybe you get sick often and don't recover. Well, that's another reason where the battery's drained. All opportunities to charge that battery back up. As you continue to not recharge the battery, you get down as far as death. And yes, we're all going to go someday. It's how we get there. And I want to be vital for as long as I possibly can. And I can tell you already, from when I was 45 to now at 62, honoring these health principles we're going to talk about this week are the way I have reversed my aging, basically. So I know, with what I know today, I should say, I know kind of the path I would have been on at 45 if I didn't make the changes I've made. So I'm very pleased and want to share this with everybody. So when we talk about biochargers, what can we do to charge that battery up? Well, we can have a chosen work schedule, a happy life, basically. An active lifestyle. We can have meditation or prayer in our life, some kind of faith. We're going to eat organic fruits and vegetables and pasture grass-fed proteins, wild-caught fish. We're going to drink high quality water. We're going to eat according to our metabolic type, which nutrition's coming up on Friday. I'll talk about that. That'll also include rotating foods, having a good variety of foods in your diet. Having anything recreational, any kind of controlled substance, whether it's caffeine or alcohol. And for some, I would recommend removing those completely, but when they're controlled and you've reached a level of health, on the 80-20 rule, it won't take a toll on your health. Having respect for yourself and respect for others. Exercising your right brain, staying creative, having love of self and others, nervous system balance, and a balance of your circadian clock, which comes in that. So that brings me to my rock balance. That rock balance represents the 6 foundation health principles, which I call the 6 ways to wellness. So on the left side, we have nutrition, hydration, and sleep. And on the left side, we have breathing, thinking, and moving. We're going to talk about all 6 of those things and why, and actually how those things will either lack of those things, lack of honoring those things, will create a condition in your body, like, for example, faulty breathing patterns, like shallow breathing up in your chest, can increase your blood pressure. And let's just say we relate that back to stress for sure. When we're under stress, we shallow breathe. If we never correct that, yes, it's going to have an effect on our blood pressure. Also, digestive issues. It decreases our ability to digest and absorb nutrients from our food. And it also decreases beneficial posture. So faulty breathing patterns, if you're breathing in the chest, you tend to fall forward. And that could be a very temporary thing. Let's say you've had a trauma, a death, and you're dealing with that. As long as you become aware of it, then you can pull yourself out of it. That's the situation with all of these things. Poor hydration. All your organ function goes down the tubes. That's whether you don't drink enough or whether you're drinking something like tap water, which we're going to talk about breathing and hydration tomorrow. First of all, the toxic load on your body with tap water, that's one thing. If you don't get adequate, or let's just say you're drinking adequate and you're getting the toxic load from tap water, we need to talk about that, because you need to have clean water in order for your body to hydrate properly and your organs to function properly. And just about nearly everyone I start working with, there's an issue there. Lack of sleep means we don't recover and rejuvenate the body. We don't have the opportunity to release toxins like we do during deep sleep. And some people might sleep 8 hours, but they're not in deep sleep mode. We can address that. Movement, of course, is critical. Used to be the thing that helped so many people so long ago for me, but this is going to relate back to your breath, but it helps with your posture as long as your breathing patterns are good. And we're going to breathe and we're going to sweat, and those are 2 great detox pathways. We got to keep moving, and it's if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. And then nutrition. We got to eat according to our metabolic type. That's kind of ancestral speaking, and we got to eat clean food. You wouldn't expect my garden to look like this. Can't see too much over there. Or a plant to grow and thrive if you didn't feed it and nourish it the right way. That even is considering whether it's acid loving or the opposite. So again, I'm going to show you the QR code. I have a checklist that you can use to follow along. All you have to do is you can screenshot this page if you're on your phone. And if you're on a desktop, use your phone and take a picture. Otherwise, here on Instagram, there's a link in my bio for that as well. But that checklist is something you can use moving forward as we talk this week, okay, and beyond this week. Because I would love it if what ends up happening for you is that something here resonates and you want to make those positive changes in your life. Okay, so the rock balance, most people might think, oh, a health coach, she deals with nutrition and movement. And a lot of them out there probably do, and that's their solo mission, is to help with nutrition, or maybe it's just nutrition. Maybe it's just movement, in which case they're an exercise coach. But believe it or not, the final principle I teach my clients when I take them through a 6-week program called Basecamp is thoughts or thinking. But I'm going to talk about that live right now today first. And that's because I'm going to touch back on each of these other principles, the nutrition, hydration, and sleep, as well as breathing and moving. Those all will relate back to thoughts. Number one, we've got some 50 trillion cells in our body. And that thought you're having right now is affecting all 50 trillion of those thoughts. Let's hope it's a positive one. Because when it is, think about when you're first in love. All those good chemical messengers go, and the neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine get released, and we feel good. When it's a negative thought, and most people live in that negative thought, whether it's what we went through during the 2020, 2021, 2022, and we were bombarded with negative talk on the media, and some people really tuned into that and lived and breathed that, and that affects our nervous system. So this rock balance symbolizes our nervous system, and our thoughts are one of the key components to balancing our nervous system. All of them are very, very important, but thoughts are very, very key. So if what I can leave with you today is positive thinking, I hope you tune in the rest of the week and learn the rest of the stuff. But it's a matter of, when we go to thoughts, we have to first of all ditch the limiting beliefs that, say, for example, my body can't heal on its own. If you're pretty far down the path, it's not going to happen overnight. Actually, it's not going to happen overnight for anybody. Popping a pill to get rid of those symptoms, well, that'll happen overnight. But the toll it takes on your body continues to lower that biobattery down. And what we want to do is restore it. And we do that by honoring the 6 foundation health principles. So if you can ditch the limiting beliefs and start saying I can and all of that, that will be your number one way to address this. So I teach a class also. It's a free master class called Change Your Habits, Change Your Life. And I talk a lot about the conscious versus unconscious brain, because that's where we live in the unconscious brain. We're programmed when we're young, and we kind of operate in the unconscious brain. It's kind of how you can drive your car and get home and go, okay, I know I got here safely, but I don't know how I got here. You don't remember how you got there. We need to, in order to make change, we need to get into our conscious brain. And we can do that by a meditation practice, but we can do it by doing things that, honoring a goal every day, putting it up on your bathroom mirror and saying, this is today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. My goal is. So in terms of a goal, there's a method for addressing that goal, and that is with positive self-talk. Again, going back to the thoughts. Think about this, replacing anything like I should go clean the bathroom, I should save more money, I should, or I need, with I can, or I am. And if you say that in the context of a future event that has already happened, that's going to send a message to those 50 trillion cells I just talked about in a positive way. Will you see a result in that moment or the next day? No, probably not. But it sends you in that right path, because the alternative is the other path, right? So I think that's it for day one. Thoughts, thinking. I believe this is going to show up. I can share this to my feed, so you'll be able to see a rebroadcast of this. Go to my bio, for the roadmap checklist, so you can follow along. And thank you everyone I saw people coming and going, but thank you for tuning in. There's more good stuff to come for the balance of the week. Monday, today we talked about thinking. Tomorrow it's going to be breathing and hydration. Wednesday is sleep. Thursday is movement. And Friday is nutrition. I'll see you next time. Have a great day out there.